Welcome back to episode 2 of the unnamed podcast, which I need to come up with a name for. In this episode, I'm going to be explaining how you can kind of improve your social skills while you're commuting, while you're going somewhere, whether you're driving or you're walking or you're on your electric scooter like me. I'm driving right now. There's ways to work on stuff. Many people will not go to this lengths. Many people will just be like, watch one video on how can I ask better questions. But if you do that, you will not get as good a results as if you do stuff like talk to yourself in the car. So, what are you going to be doing exactly when you're commuting? You're essentially priming yourself for social events. So what that means is you're letting go of any anxiety and you're getting into a social mood. So those are two different things. If you have anxiety, you're not going to be in a social mood, but you can have no anxiety and still not feel like socializing. So getting rid of anxiety, you have to notice it first. You have to notice that you're feeling stressed. So if you're going somewhere and you're feeling a little bit nervous, notice that and then take some breaths and do whatever you normally do to calm nerves and relax. I mean, Julian himself is a YouTuber who's good at this kind of stuff, like letting go of anxiety. I would recommend watching him. But there's different ways of getting rid of anxiety. There's physical ways like breathing, focusing on the present, going for like a little jog to get your energy out and get rid of your adrenaline, doing some push-ups or something. If you're driving, I don't really know what you can do. You can probably think of something to do. Just a scream gets rid of your adrenaline, so if you yell really loud, and that's also good for overcoming social anxiety. So all that stuff can help you. But that's all the physical stuff you can do. Then there's mental stuff you can do. And within that mental stuff, one aspect of it is focusing, is basically reframing misled beliefs or wrong beliefs. So you might be thinking, and you'd have to get to this belief, you probably don't realize it straight away, but you may be thinking that people are gonna judge you because you are quiet or something. There's probably some beliefs there that are not quite correct. So maybe you are quiet, maybe that one's true, but does that mean people are going to be going, oh, that guy's so quiet, listen, I don't like him? Probably not. Not to the extent that you're thinking anyway. And maybe you're not as quiet as you think. Now, I don't know about that one, you probably are, let's be real, but I don't know. I definitely was. And you're reframing those beliefs. So this is something you can do in the car. And this is something Julian himself is really good at. If you watch his YouTube videos, he'll help you a lot. So as you're going there, you can just let the beliefs come to you. So you're letting the anxiety arise and dealing with it before the social event. So that's kind of what you can do. And then you're what are you doing? So you're letting the anxiety come to you, and anxiety is a feeling. But if you start thinking in words, you let your anxiety speak to you, then you can dispel the words and that'll dispel the feeling. So how do you let your anxiety speak to you? You just think about all the things that could go wrong, basically. So you're just letting yourself fall into a pit, a spiral, so to speak. And then you pull yourself out by filling in the pit, rather than when you're in a social event walking into the pit, because it's going to come up. And how do you dispel this stuff? You take a belief. So let's say people don't like me because I'm quiet. That's a belief that is probably not as true as you think. And then you go, do I have any evidence of this? You look for evidence. Well, maybe I don't have any friends, but I don't think people dislike me. And if I don't You know, like, I mean, I'm basically talking from my own experience here. I'm not saying you don't have friends, but maybe like people do generally like you, and maybe if they don't want to be friends with you, again, this is from my experience, maybe that's just like it's hard to communicate with you, but it doesn't mean that they don't like you. So if you were to become less anxious, then you'd be able to communicate, and then you make the friends. So the quietness isn't the problem. Again, I'm not saying you don't have friends. This is just my talking to my past self. So when you do that, you're going to slowly get rid of these negative beliefs and replace them with more positive beliefs. And that will mean that when you go into, if you do this repeatedly, like every time you socialize, you will start to honestly believe that. Because if you do this one time, it will help a little bit, but it's going to fade. The effectiveness of it is going to fade. It's like when you watch a motivational confidence video, like my most popular video. You're going to feel good for like a couple hours, and then the confidence will fade. And that's because you don't truly believe this stuff. And you have to truly believe it. And that takes a lot of time. But if you, again, like you're driving somewhere, you've got nothing better to do. Like it's either listen to music or slowly make yourself more confident. I'd rather slowly make myself more confident personally. And I mean, I have been, so it's working. Now I'm slowly getting rid of these beliefs. That is making me more confident. The other thing you can do is, as I said, become more social. And this is all just as you're going to a social event. So there's a lot of stuff to cover here. I may not even finish in this podcast episode because I'm low-key, I'm like halfway home. Anyway, so to get into a more social mood, the first thing is to get rid of all the anxiety and the nerves. And then once you've done that, you can tell yourself whatever motivational thing you're telling yourself to make yourself do whatever behavior you're trying to do. So I guess it's not really being in a more social mood, it's more just being more social or more socially skilled. So if you're trying to talk more, which is what I'm trying to do, basically start more conversations, just have less silence essentially. I do that by telling myself all this list of motivational stuff, which I know works for me. It works well because, I mean, I always have to find new motivational stuff, but I've got basically some stuff I tell myself that seems to work better than other stuff. And you know, you can find this on YouTube, you can just think about it. The stuff I tell myself is like, if I want to be the kind of person I do, which is a charismatic person, like more charismatic than the average person, then I need to do stuff that the average person wouldn't do in social situations. So yes, I'm scared to be like starting all these conversations and talking, and I don't have to do it, like it's above the bare minimum, but that's what I want to do, because I want to become a more charismatic person. So that's what I tell myself. That's one of the things. Another thing is like you can only find the line, I guess, the golden zone of how much to talk and everything by going past that line. Otherwise, you'll never find that line. And the fastest way is just to go past it and then go, oh, that's where the line was. Not slowly get closer and closer and closer to the line. That's like a very slow, bad strategy. So I tell myself those two things. Those are kind of the main ones. And that helps me. And also just the one of like, people don't really care that much with a single social event. So this is all just motivational advice that I'm telling myself. And this isn't like, you know, people always say like discipline beats motivation. Discipline is partly generating your own motivation. It's not waiting till you feel like it. It's telling yourself stuff that will make you feel like it enough to do it. So that's kind of what you're doing here. So when I say hype yourself up and give yourself motivation, that is like a good, effective strategy, at least from what I've found, from my perspective. So after you do that, you will be less scared to do the stuff you want to do, and you'll be motivated to do the stuff you want to do, even in spite of any fear that you still do have. That doesn't mean you're going to actually succeed and it's going to be easy, but you know, whatever. And then as for what I said about like being in a social mood, as I've just been talking through this, I think you can be in a more social mood by just visualizing yourself having a lot of fun. You've got to increase your awareness to the positive stuff that could happen here, because you may be focused on the negative stuff, thinking about all the stuff that could go wrong, and that's why you don't feel like doing it. Or maybe you're just like, well, this is going to be boring, I don't really want to be here, like it's just a chore that I have to do because I want to improve my social life, I want more friends, and that's why you're doing it, and you don't have anything really to look forward to. So just think about some stuff that actually is probably going to be pretty fun, that you're just not focused on. And when you do that, then you'll be in a more social mood. It's not always talking to people. Sometimes it's just like, I'm going to play soccer, that's going to be fun. Like if you're just excited to do something, you're going to be more social. Excited, happy people are more social people than sad, bored people. But then it also can be something social related. It can be, oh, I'm actually kind of looking forward to talking to this person. I've got all this, they said all this interesting stuff last time, so I'm low-key like looking forward to following up on that. And when you do that, you'll be in a more social mood. You're now fully prepared, or as prepared as you can be, to go into a social situation. And you'll still need discipline while you're there. When you go home, you can think about it so quickly because I'm almost home. When you go home, you can basically think of one thing you did well, one thing you're going to improve, who you're going to talk to next time, who you want to keep being friends with, anything like that. And then you stop thinking about socializing. So if you do this on the way home, then you don't need to be thinking about it all day the next day, just in the back of your mind. You just actively set aside a time to think about it. The other things you can do, if you're not driving to or from a social event, is you can, we'll leave it at that. And in a future episode, maybe the next one, I will cover ways that you can improve your communication skills by talking to yourself while you're in the car. But this stuff will help you actually act better in a social situation. So I hope this helped. Have a great day.